Good morning. Ursula here with the Morning Doves. We're next to the garage, and I had put up the low portion of the trellis just to be able to put the plastic cover on and off as the weather changes this early in the spring. This is something I discovered this morning that'll break your heart. I had peas planted all through here. I planted them maybe a week ago, and now I had squirrels digging. So I'm going to replant this section and get some chicken wire on it, and I'm going to try again. Overnight I'm going to start putting the cover on every single night, and I'm going to have to get me some shade cloth or something to protect this area from the critters. This section here is not planted. This year I have beans are supposed to go in the front, cucumbers or melons are going to go in the back. We'll see. I had real bad luck growing cucumbers last year. I also put up a cucumber trellis in the front yard, so it might just be melons back here. But for now, we're going to get a windstorm in tonight, and so the other part of today's activities is to get all the seed trays up here and get them underneath cover for the windstorm. I've been hardening them off on the front porch. They've been getting sun, wind, rain, but they're not going to withstand 35-mile-an-hour winds sustained, which is what we're going to get tonight. So I'm going to get to work, and you can see how it turns out at the end through the magic of photography. Okay, peas are replanted. I have snow peas in here and also a sugar pea. What I did was I covered them up with straw for mulch, and then if you can see it better this way, I have chicken wire over the top, and I'm hesitant to put a rock on it lest I injure some of my peas, but I think I might have to, just so they don't move it to dig, because those squirrels, I don't really know if it was squirrels. It could have been a cat trying to use this as a litter box, but there was plenty of other spaces they could have done that. I have a hunch it was a rodent, and they were after my peas. They plant walnuts and peanuts all through here anyway. So I got one lonely arugula plant still in here. That'll get pulled when I plant the beans. And my jar of peas are almost gone, almost totally gone. So I'm gonna have to put that on the grocery shopping list for next year. While we're up here, let's take a look at what else is going on. I got 4 trays up here. I'm debating on whether to bring the little tiny flat of lettuce. That'll go flying if the actual wind gets a hold of the cover and tears it off. So these are heavy. They're not going to go anywhere, especially not since they're, for the most part, they're really close to below the cinder blocks. So the wind comes from that direction. The garage protects this area pretty good, and yet this area gets full sun all the time, even in winter. But the other things going on up here, these are pots from last year. I have leeks and I have scallions, and some of these I'm going to let go to seed. I just haven't decided which ones yet, but this will be their second year, so they should put up a stalk and bloom in about mid-May, maybe the 3rd week in May, depending on the weather. And that way I'll have seed for the following year. Alliums like this, their seed really only lasts a year. It's hard to store it and get really good germination in following years. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's not a very high percentage. So it's generally not worth your time. My goal then is to let a few of these go to seed and collect the seeds so that I have seed every year. Because as we learned last year, you can't count on the store having the seed you need when you need to plant it. And with growing food, timing is critical. Okay, so many of you are sitting here going, what in the heck kind of setup does she have going on here? What is this with all these PVC pipes and so forth? Well, I decided even after 40 years of growing things in the garden, I could use a little bit of an education. So I've been following Lynn Gillespie on thelivingfarm.org, and no, I don't get a kickback for this. She has free growing sessions with the High Performance Garden series. And so I thought, well, Craigslist had some of these for free. We try it out. PVC doesn't cost that much. So this is modeled based on her system. I'm also on a hill and I'm doing on contour growing. So you'll notice these are rather crooked, and that's because we are kind of following a curvature of the hill. I don't exactly have a choice in that. Just the way the whole yard and the way the water flows down the hill, this really needs to be on contour. So that's what's going on here. One of the things I found out through the magic of Instagram was these little gizmos. This is 1-inch pipe, just PVC pipe. But there's a company that makes these things. They're called Circo Innovations, and they clip over the plastic, they clip over the agribond, they clip over burlap, and I've been using them now for a couple years. I'm very happy with them. I can't imagine trying to secure a covering for this because I don't grow in a greenhouse. This is outdoors and I need things to be as secure as possible. So with this being next to the garage, I haven't had to stake this. I haven't had to put any rebar in here. I do have it if I need it, and I may do that further up the hill, but for this section it hasn't needed any. And the goals for this year are to put tomatoes in the back there, all along that back edge, and this section is going to be the melons with beans in the front. And this one I planted carrots in the front section here. I don't know, somebody's video on drawing a grid on paper towel and then using a flour paste to glue your seeds into each square. And so I tried that this year. We're going to see if it works. This is a carrot from Baker's Creek called Cosmic Carrot. I think it's a purplish red. And then I've got a traditional orange carrot in here. And unless I actually am looking at my chart, I don't know what kind it was. Could have been Danvers, could have been a Chanteray, something like that. That's the blue jay saying hi. We've also got the paper towels totally surrounded by onions on 2 or 3 sides, so that I know where I planted the carrots, but also supposedly the onions keep away whitefly, which carrots are prone to, and carrots keep away something else that bothers onions. So it's a companion plant according to the internet. It doesn't matter. They like each other. Last year I grew carrots with leeks. They both really flourished. So this year we're going to try yellow onions. I'd like a bulb onion for once. We have a cardinal fighting. It's bird wars today. Okay, while we're up here next to the garage, here's another section. Ignore my garbage. Nobody recycles propane canisters, so At some point when they actually rust out, I can recycle them, but until they rust out completely and the gas escapes, there is just a tiny bit of gas in each one. I know, I tried cutting one open once, and yes, you can smell it. You need to do that outside if you're going to make them into some other art form. This section is where the Napa cabbage is going. I think using my sticks here, these are 18 inchers, I think I can get a 3 foot by 3 foot area, which will give me 9 cabbages. And I planted 10 of them. Oh God, here, these were done and planted in mid-February in the grow room. I've got Napa, I've got colored greens, I've got red cabbage. I really like the red cabbage, great in coleslaw. The Napa are what I have in mind to put over in this section, simply because they don't have as big of a footprint as the red cabbage. And yeah, that purple dead nettle's gonna get pulled. This is the kale that managed to stick around since last year. And this section down here, I'm going to be planting the collard greens in the front and growing pumpkin in the back. I happen to like the Long Island cheese pumpkins, and they spread. They grow everywhere. So we're going to see how they do up here. I didn't fertilize this other than to put sawdust on it. And I really don't want to dig, so I'm just going to remove the sawdust as a mulch and then put it back on and spread it more evenly, and then prep the beds. There's 12 feet here, maybe a little bit more. My goal is 6 hills of pumpkin, and just let them climb down. They love climbing the rose bushes. They can climb down the path, they can go down the driveway. We've done this before, just not last year. Last year this whole section was tomatoes. So on that note, I'm going to wish y'all happy gardening. Enjoy your spring, especially the nice days while they last. Take care.